The Microsoft Azure Data Fundamentals DP-900 exam is designed to validate your knowledge of the core data concepts and how they are implemented using Microsoft Azure Data Services. The exam covers 4 main topics: relational data on Azure, non-relational data on Azure, data analytics with Azure Synapse Analytics, and data processing with Azure Data Factory. Passing this DP-900 exam will demonstrate your ability to work with various types of data in the cloud and help you prepare for more advanced data certifications. 1. You need to design and model a database by using a graphical tool that supports project-oriented offline database development. What should you use? A. Microsoft SQL Server Data Tools (SSDT). B. Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio (SSMS). C. Azure Databricks. D. Azure Data Studio. 2. What are 3 characteristics of an online transaction processing (OLTP) workload? Each correct answer presents a complete solution. Note: each correct selection is worth 1 point. Choose 3. A. Denormalized data. B. Heavy writes and moderate reads. C. Light writes and heavy reads. D. Schema on write. E. Schema on read. F. Normalized data. 3. Which 2 Azure services can be used to provision Apache Spark clusters? Each correct answer presents a complete solution. Note: each correct selection is worth 1 point. Choose 2. A. Azure Time Series Insights. B. Azure HD Insight. C. Azure Databricks. D. Azure Log Analytics. 4. Your company needs to design a database that shows how changes traffic in one area of a network affect other components on the network. Which type of data store should you use? A. Key, value. B. Graph. C. Document. D. Columnar. 5. You have an application that runs on Windows and requires access to a mapped drive. Which Azure service should you use? A. Azure Files. B. Azure Blob Storage. C. Azure Cosmos DB. D. Azure Table Storage. 6. Your company is designing a database that will contain session data for a website. The data will include notifications, personalization attributes, and products that are added to a shopping cart. Which type of data store will provide the lowest latency to retrieve the data? A. Key, value. B. Graph. C. Columnar. D. Document. 7. You need to store data by using Azure Table Storage. What should you create first? A. An Azure Cosmos DB instance. B. A storage account. C. A blob container. D. A table. 8. You need to query a table named Products in an Azure SQL database. Which 3 requirements must be met to query the table from the Internet? Each correct answer presents part of the solution. Note: each correct selection is worth 1 point. Choose 3. A. You must be assigned the reader role for the resource group that contains the database. B. You must have select access to the products table. C. You must have a user in the database. D. You must be assigned the contributor role for the resource group that contains the database. E. Your IP address must be allowed to connect to the database. 9. You have an application that runs on Windows and requires access to a mapped drive. Which Azure service should you use? A. Azure Cosmos DB. B. Azure Table Storage. C. Azure Files. D. Azure Blob Storage. 10. When can you use an Azure Resource Manager template? A. To automate the creation of an interdependent group of Azure resources in a repeatable way. B. To automate the creation of an interdependent and develop can deploy from the Azure portal. C. To provision Azure subscriptions and apply policies for multi-tenant deployments. D. To set complex permissions automatically on existing objects in an Azure subscription.